Kevin Brock of FishKevinBrock. Tonight's seminar topic, striper fishing techniques in the Delta. Kevin, it's all yours. These are Walgreens.
They told me when I was, I hit 40, like, you need readers. And I'm like, no way.
You do.
44? Yeah, that was it.
We all joined that club.
It's all good, it's all part of it. Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for having me here. I appreciate you guys very much. We're gonna go over a few things and talk about a few things about what I do, but, whenever we're in like a small group like this, the main thing is that everybody gets something out of this. Wherever you fish at, whatever you're doing, whether it be bait, trolling, jigging, whatever we talked about right there, and at the end of this little presentation here, we're gonna do questions and answers. And so we'll do all that kind of stuff on where and when and how. And well, when we start off these, I like this podium here thing. I'm like a preaching a sermon almost. I need my Bible right here, I turned to Acts 3. Yeah, not quite yet. Not yet. No, I'm not preaching. I'm kidding. Everyone's like, oh no. But I like to tell everybody, I see a lot of familiar faces. So I've been guiding full time since I was, I don't even want to say how old, but it was 1993. All right, and so Mrs. Diana Conavero in the back there, I knew Barry and Diana back when, 92, 93, something like that, and I hung out with Jerry Neff, and Jerry Neff was the owner and designer of Design Concept jet boats, so that goes back a little bit more, and everyone knows the old school Design Concept jet boats. And Jerry had two sons, David and John, and I was friends with both of them. So I spent more time at Jerry's house than Jerry did. I was always hanging there. And why? Because Lola, Jerry's wife, and she was like a second mom to me, was an awesome cook, and she took us fishing everywhere. And that's how I started. And I think that no matter what happens this evening or what happens in life, remember, when you take or you help other kids out or you help people out, you never know. Like 40 years later, they might be standing in front of someone making a living fishing. But anyway, for me, it was, I started in 93 full time. Now, we are licensed in California, Oregon, Washington, and Alaska, and possibly this year, Idaho. We're looking at a little bit on the Snake over there. We went and visited that last week. Because of our issues, and we're not going to talk about the guy that just retired, we're going to keep those political things to ourselves. Did a good job on that. But our salmon season, well, let's just be honest, it sucked. It's been terrible. I mean, it's been horrible management, and we're going to leave it at that. But I made my living on the water, and so we've had to branch out of different states. I have a 100-ton Masters Coast Guard license, and so yeah, we have our TWIC cards, we have our everything that we have. We have like a booklet like this. At the beginning of the year, we got to renew everything in, but we're all certified with that. So enough about me. I hate talking about myself, but that's what I do. I guide full time. So over the last few years, I started making some rods and some tackle and some different things. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of that tonight, where you can get them, but I'm also going to talk about the Delta and striper fishing, because that's what I said I would do. So I brought like 3 techniques along where we already heard that right now the water's muddy, the water's cold. But if you find some clean water, you can get some fish. Mark's saying bait fishing was tough, but they got some small ones, but never really got into them. My rule of thumb is 48, go to bait. Now, 48 degrees. That water, and you can get them on glides and you can get other things, but as a guide, to get a lot of fish in the boat for people, I'd be trolling one day and it's 51, 52 degrees, and we're just crushing 30, 40 fish, letting go shorts, keeping our limits, everyone's happy. Cold front comes in, right? Bad tide happens, and all of a sudden, you're looking at your screen, it's 47 degrees, everyone's cold. You know you're in the fish, they were just there yesterday. You're marking fish on your screen, you're getting a few short bites, or grabbing it a little bit. 48, switch to bait. So if you're out there, and all of a sudden you're not getting bit, but you know where some fish are, and we talked about mudsuckers earlier, but if you got a lot of money, oh, you can buy mudsuckers now. What, you win $70? Yeah. Now you can buy like 7 of them. That's what they're about $7 a piece. That's highway robbery for a mudsucker. I mean, but they do work. So I'm going to show you one of the rods I use, and I'm going to hand it around for everybody to see. And it's like, I can't really walk away from it, but Ken, I'm going to have you come up for me here real quick. So everyone thank you, Ken, we appreciate you. You're going to stand on the side, you're going to help me out, because I can't walk.
I can't walk either.
So you're going to hang on to this. So over the years, I worked with Gary Loomis for many years on developing rods. But I always did it as a guide, and I wasn't like making them or nothing like that. And then when Gary sold out to Shimano, which was fine, Lamaglass kind of stepped it up there, and so I got to know the guys over there real well, and they had me start to design rods and give me royalties off those rods, which was really cool. So I learned a lot about designing rods and making rods. Time changes everything, we know that, right? Over time. So then Lamaglass kind of went some different directions, so I'm like, man, now what do I do? Right? I'm still fishing. I still want to give people like good rods, so I started my own company. Yeah. And if you want to make money, don't start a rod company. Just keep fishing is what I'm saying. Because the amount of time and money you put in and what you get back, it's not equal. But you got some cool rods. So I developed this rod for a minnow rod. And I'm going to hand it around for everybody to check it out. Standard 12-pound test leader, #1 Gamakatsu hook, just basic old school stuff. I'm running 30-pound test braid on it. This little rod right here, and you can kind of hang on to it like you're fishing. I'm going to load it up. You can feel that minnow swimming around, breathing, stop, move. You can drop a ½ ounce down and feel everything that's going on. You can feel when fish brush up against it. I wrapped a little bit of glass composite in this tip here. So, you can see what it does there, right? Okay, so it just wraps around, which is super cool. Boom, you feel that thump. You let them load up. Now go ahead and pull back on. Just pull back. You put your thumb on the spool and you can pull back really hard. Look at that. It just loads up, and you still got backbone in it. We have landed stripers. Stoney was actually on the boat one day. We landed stripers. This is the minnow rod that I use guiding. I'm running 6 guys plus mine. We're catching 30 to 50, 60 fish a day during the peak season. And these are the rods I'm using. We've landed stripers over 30 pounds. Well, one was almost 40 pounds on that rod right there. So I'm going to hand that around so you can check it out. And again, we'll do like tons of questions. There, so you can hear me in the back. So we'll do questions at the end. Thank you. Thank you so much for holding that. I'll call you back up here in a second. Right. When you see this setup, you guys, standard, just sliding swivel, barrel swivel. You can clip whatever weight you want on there. If you want to use a dropper, you can. Whatever you like. Get it to the bottom, get it up off the bottom a little bit. The stripers are going to find it. Okay, it's not rocket science. Just get it close to the bottom. Watch your graph. What I put on the end here is this little rubber bead. What is this for? You don't need it to catch any more fish. It's not going to get you any more bites. But what it will do is it'll save your rod tips from getting smashed over and over and over again. As a guide, you're like super sensitive to certain sounds. And when and people jamming the swivel into the end of your rod is one of those sounds that you don't like. And you're laughing, and you're listening, you're like, okay, keep them up tight, and then clink, and you're like, oh, and that swivel just wedged in the tip, right? I put this little rubber bead on here. You can get them like on Amazon or something like that, right? Put a little rubber bead on there, save your rod tip. Check it out. I'm going to hand it around. These rods, by the way, and I'm not here to sell rods. I'm here to hang out with you guys, and again, I'm just appreciative and grateful that you invited me to be here with you, because I've got some history with, you know, a lot of you here. At the ISE show, we're doing like a super sale on these. So if you swing by and you say, hey, I saw you there at the seminar or whatever, we'll give you like, the rods are like $200, $250. We'll like buy one, get one free or something even better for you. So, and their lifetime warranty on the rods. Check that out. No questions asked. No hassles. You don't have to send me back the rod. You can snap it, you can step on it, you can slam it in the door. I don't care. $50, I'll ship you another one. It covers shipping and handling. I'm not making any money on it, but I'm taking care of my people. Because you know what? I wanted once, when Loomis used to have a really great program, I don't know anymore, so I don't want to say that they don't have one, but I know they used to. They took care of their people. They took care of the fishermen. They cared about people. It's hard to find that anymore, so that's what we did. I'm going to hand this around. You guys check it out, pull on it, do whatever you like.
You use that for live bait fishing only?
Yeah. Yeah, the question is that rod for live bait? That's what I designed that rod for, and basically that's what I use it for. Now, you could use that rod in a downrigger situation for like lake trout or some bigger fish, but it's a 4 to 12 pound size fish range. It's perfect. It's too soft to troll a lure with. It's not heavy enough to cast a swim bait with and get a good hook set in it. But a minnow rod, it's money. It's like the old HSR 9000, the GL2s that were made, that Loomis used to make, that Gary used to make. That's what the blank is. So, when and where, we talked about that. Bouncing bait, springtime. A lot of the guys are getting some fish out of the port right now. The port has clear water, and I've had great reports the last 2 weeks from over there on the port. So, if you want to take the run and go up into there, or if you have a pass, to get into the port, that's been fishing really good.
They drift live bait in there?
Yes, yeah. And they throw some glide baits, they throw some topwater stuff, which is really cool when you can chase the birds. But you see them on the meter, yeah, you bet, minnows, but they also jig, and we'll be talking about that jig.
And troll.
That jig area, that. So the port can do it all, yeah. So the next, can you guys hear me okay on the back? In the back, I'm just going to leave the mic. If you guys can hear me in the back, I'm just going to roll like this. I got 4 days at ISE seminar, or at the ISE show. I got seminars there, and so maybe my voice will make it by Saturday. We'll see. You see how that goes. But trolling is one of my favorite ways to catch fish. And this is to you, Mark Wilson. Hats off to you, my friend. Years ago, when I started fishing the Delta, that man right there came over to my booth, hung out with me, and was like, Kevin, you need to go here. And he brought out a map, and he took pins, and I still have those maps in my storage, where he highlighted different corners. You got to go by Sherman Island on this one. In this Decker, you got to fish a deep plug over here. He gave me like 7 or 8 of his spots that he fished. So when I went out guiding, I would be successful because I was starting out. I didn't know. I was doing the best I could do, trying to survive. I was trying to make a living as a guide, and still do that. But anyway, hats off to you, Mark, for that. That's pretty cool. So this rod is just a little bigger brother of that one. So that one's a 7.6. This one's 7.9. Just a little bit more. I love the X-Wrap on the back. Me being an old school steelhead fisherman, I fish cork handles, because I love the feel of them. And when it's raining, you can, if you fish old school cork, you know that feeling. It's just a cool feeling, right? But rod holders, other people, guests, friends, clients, the X-Wrap is the only way to go. It will hold up for a long time. So anyway, trolling. I run on my main line. I run a 50-pound braid. You don't need to run that heavy. There's a couple reasons why I run that. It's because I use the Max Quattro, okay, on the Power Pro. Power Pro makes a Max Quattro, which is 4 strands. Now, a lot of the guys over time have said like, oh man, I want to use the smoother ones, 8 carrier, 12 carrier. And it's expensive braid, but it's real smooth, it's slick, right? The issue with that is, it's not bad, but the issue with that is when you're trolling, what is the worst thing out there? What is your nemesis when you're out trolling? The moss, the weeds, the junk in the line, right? It always hangs up on super slick braid. It hangs up and it slides down to your bait easier. This Max Quattro I found out this out by fishing it up in Alaska years ago on the tides when the moss was around, cuts through the grass better. It's rougher, but it doesn't tear up your guides or anything like that. So it's smaller diameter, so it's like 25% smaller diameter. It's still as strong, so it's like 30-pound braid on here, but it'll cut through stuff better. You rip on it a couple times, you can see it. It cuts through the moss better. So that's why I use it. All line works. I'm not saying that one line works better than the other, but that's why I do it. Because I can reach over, I can be like, oh, that rod's mossed up. Pop it a couple times, rip it, keep right on going. That way I know I'm still fishing. Because there's nothing worse than trolling a long ways and all your gear is mossed up. And you know you're around fish. And we've all been there before. Anyway, that's why I use that. This one's rated a little bit heavier. All right, well, come on up. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay.
Okay, you're all right? You want me to call someone else, another volunteer?
No.
Okay, all right. So on this one.
It's the only time we get to see with a rod.
I know, at least he's acting like he's going fishing, so come, lay it down just a little bit, more like it's right, a rod holder, like that, okay. So, the key thing is being able to watch the rod tip, right? So you're trolling and you want to go fast. Stripers love fast trolling. They love it, they love to chase. You know? So, but you've got to see that rod tip vibrating so you know your plug's working, right? But you can't have it so soft that when a fish grabs it, it doesn't hook it, or you can't lean on a big fish. You can put your thumb on the spool. So when one eats it, it's wiggling it, pops it, and yanks it out, go and lift on it. That thing's got all kinds of back into it. Now you can you can put it on it, right? All kinds there. But it's super, super light in the end. Okay, so that's why I meant that is a trolling rod. If you want, you can use it, for bait, sardines, cut bait, stuff like that. But I made this rod for trolling. That's what I made it for. Put glass in the tip, so the tip's super soft. Thank you. I appreciate you. I put glass in the tip, and then I put a little more beef in the back end. I put IMX in the back end on this side, so it just doesn't bend. So you just cut that all day long.
What model is that, Kevin?
Okay,
Is that
this is the 7C. Yeah, super, super popular model. The other thing I did on these is you guys know when you buy a rod, and I mean you can buy a $300, $400 rod, right? And they look nice, they're pretty, but halfway up the guides, they're all single-footed guides. And you step on them, or a client bends them down, or whatever, and you can take that eye and you can just bend it around, right? I mean, if you look at those high-end rods, and you're like, why are you doing that? They're like, oh, we're saving weight. Well, when you're trolling, you're not going to tell a half an ounce on a rod, or you'll have no idea. It doesn't matter. Thanks, Diana, for you don't have to bring it all the way up. It's okay. You can keep it back there. I'll come back and get it for you later. I get to steal a hug before I get to leave anyway. So
There you go.
yeah. So what we did is we wrapped these. I put wrap on the bottom. I double wrapped them, just like the saltwater. You wrap on the bottom, and everyone's double-footed all the way up to the tip. And on the tip, I made the rod tips just a little bit smaller than normal. Why? Because they get tip wrapped all the time. Not from you guys, but from clients or people who haven't fished a lot before. So when they're in the rod holder, because it's a smaller tip, it doesn't get tip wrapped as much when they're hanging out. So those are just little things that you notice when you're fishing every day, that little things that bug you. Anyway, I'll hand this one around. Oh no, I want to do this one time. I want to use this one time. Everybody knows about putting the worm on there, right? Everybody knows about that. I'm going to tear this one off. I sell a ton of these worms. You buy them, Zoom worms, trick worms, all that kind of stuff. I always just take the take the plug and look at the nose of it, and whichever treble hook in the back you see first, whichever one's kind of hanging to you, that's the one you want to put your worm on. That kind of keeps it the rudder, and that way when you really speed up fast, it just helps tune it straight. Now when you get into a bunch of shorts, 12, 14 inches, 17 inches, things like that, they pull these tails down, right? And you're just going through worm after worm after worm after worm. And even the Z-Mans, they yank them down, and then you get it back and it's pulled down like that, or it's cut in half. You know, we've all been there, putting new ones on. You're like, darn, I kept trolling because that one didn't bite it. I hook it on that treble. What I do, and what it does is it saves you a bunch of worms. And I'm not here just to sell stuff. I'm here to like give little tips that, you know, hey, this is kind of cool. Yep. If the cap doesn't come off.
Yep.
Hold on, wrong cap came off. Anyway, you take a drop of super glue right there in that bead of the treble hook. Just one little drop, super glue gel, and then you just take it, push up the worm, and then it'll hold it for 3 or 4 seconds. That will keep those shorts grabbing it and pulling on it and not tearing that worm down. You'll get to troll longer. You'll get a couple short grabs, and then all of a sudden, whoa, it goes over and stays. There's a keeper. The reason you got that keeper is because the short didn't pull off your worm or didn't pull it down and knock your plug out of tune. So it's a cool little thing to do. Have some super glue with you. When you look at this plug, you'll see that I do it. And this isn't a one I've used, but you'll see where I glued it on in the backside, so you'll be able to see that because this cap didn't come off right. But I'll hand that one around. But it's a great way to save on worms, and not only because you're not out there to save worms, you're out there to catch fish, but you will catch a few more. You'll get a couple more biters, and what I found is the shorts will grab it first, and then they don't get it, and then all of a sudden the big one comes in, he's like, oh, move out of my way, I'm eating it now. So that's kind of cool. Same kind of thing on there, I put that little rubber bead on there, same braid, 30-pound leader on there. Okay, when we're going 3 to 5 miles an hour trolling with the shallow divers, 3.2 if you can get up there that high without kicking them out. The stripers are not leader shy. They're not leader shy at all. Don't run 10 and 12 pound tests. You hook a big old monster and you hook him on the gills and cut him off. Run 30 on your mono. There's no, and then half the time you get your lure back too if it happens to hung up. Anyway, I'll run that there. I'll hand that one around too. But they're pretty cool. Pretty cool. We'll start here and we'll go around with that one.
Why do you use a meter for trolling?
Yeah, the question is, and it's a great question, why do we use a leader for trolling?
Sacrificial.
There's a couple different things for me. Guiding wise, if I get moss and they get tangled, it untangles way easier. I reel them in, I keep pressure on them, that heavy mono unravels way easier than double braid together. 2, when I'm getting shorts, I hit my auto lock, I got 3 fish on at once, I just got a triple, I know 2 are short, I look over, I don't want to net it, I don't want to grab braid, I reach over, you can wrap 30 pound around your hand, lift that short up there, shake them a little bit, jump them up, and you just keep right on going. You're in fish, so you're right there. So that's why I use a mono leader. Yeah, and that braid will stop at the top with the braid and the bead and everything up there. Any more moss will hang up on there, and then when you pop it, it knocks off of it instead of just sliding right on down your line. If you run it direct, the first piece of hyacinth you hit, right into your lure. Right into your lure. So that's why I do it. It's just more time in the water. And another trick. Some guys, and this is fine to do, everyone catches fish, but they'll catch a couple fish and they keep going, right? Stripers are schooling fish. They like to hang out together. There's a reason why they're there. And this is back and forth GPS and all that crazy stuff. So you're trolling down, you're past, you're just above the Rio Vista Bridge, say, and you look over and there's a fallen tree, and all of a sudden you just got a double.
Go back.
Turn around and go back. You bet. Go right back through there. Go 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, because sometimes they're only hitting it one direction. But do it 4 or 5 times. Beat them up until they stop biting. Then leave, and then maybe Yeah, depending on the tide, watch your clock, you're like, I think I'll sneak in there before the day's over. Pop, 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 you'll pop a couple more. So yeah, always go, but don't keep going. Don't keep going. And people ask about distance. These got line counters on them. You don't need to go far. 60, 90, 100, 50, whatever your number may be that you like. Stripers will, in clear water, they'll slide out from your boat a little bit. Both sides, but they'll still come back and eat. They don't, unless you're running the big engines over them, they're not going to spook. They're not going to spook out. Yeah, even when we go upriver and stuff in clear water, my bow rods get bit a lot because the boat will go over them. And why I know they'll still bite, because I'll see them on the graph, I'll see them on side scan, and I've got a rod, I got my rod out the transom, 2 others, middle rods, and then bow rods. So I got 7 rods out. I see a school of fish coming up, and I'm like, my transom rod doesn't get touched. Both bow rods got buried. So the fish still bite, but they will slide off a little bit. But that's in anywhere between 8 and 12 foot. You get over 14 foot of water, they'll bite that transom rod, they'll bite right behind the boat. So you don't have to let it out a long ways, because then when you get mossed up, you got to crank it in further to get the moss off anyway, and it'll help tangle it out. So you don't need to run it a long ways back. Yeah, on the fish, and that's for me. In the port, different places, drop-offs, Decker Island, there's a few different spots. I love to spoon. Love spooning. Man, you can catch so many fish spooning. They're aggressive. You can sit right on top of them. Remember, they're schooling fish, so they're all hanging out together. If you can get in that 12 to 16, 20 foot of water and spoon on them, it's a blast. All kinds of spoons out there right now. All kinds of them out there. This is one I made. I had the mold made. The reason why I had it made was because I couldn't get them anymore. And I made it before I started selling them. So I fished it for a couple years. I have a 1, 2, and 3 ounce, and it's super, super flat. Why is that? When you lift and jig, the key thing about it is, just like a lure, is a reaction. They want to react to it. They're going to react to action. If it hangs there, if they're biting, great. Maybe one will bite it. But you want to get aggressive bites, you pop that thing up, the lure's got to turn it and get sideways, and it's got to flutter down. If it kind of yo-yos down, or if it kind of hangs on the bottom and does this, that works for rockfish and lingcod. I think everything works for rockfish and lingcod. But stripers love the flutter. They love the flutter. So if you can get your spoon to kick sideways and flutter down, you'll get more fish out of it. One key thing about jigging, now you can notice I don't have that little rubber bead on there, right? I'm running braid, a double uni knot, 30-pound test, and you only need 2.5, 3 feet. 2.5 is plenty too. But with this jig, you got to have, and tie it direct, don't put it on a snap. You got to have at least 30-pound test mono. Because I tested it, and for it to kick on its side and flutter down right, it needed a little bit of extra resistance on the mono side. So that's what I came up with. I tested this for about 2 years in different spots, from the delta to the river, before I actually brought it out on the market. So anyway, when you jig, see a lot of guys jigging really high. I like to have my rod tip down right on the water's edge. And when I jig, I'll have a little line out so I don't yank it into the ceiling. I lift it up just about my head height. Just a little bit above. That's it. And you don't have to go fast. Lift up. But when you drop it all the way out. Drop it fast. Let the lure work. Let it do it. If you drop it slow, the lure kind of rocks a little bit. If you drop it fast, that lure will kick on its side and it'll flutter all the way down. And then stop it, go back to jigging. Lift up slow, drop fast. What you'll feel is you'll just feel a thump. You don't know if it's a 12-incher or a 12-pounder. But when you lean on it, then you'll know. If you feel a thump, lean on it right away and start cranking because you got it. So yeah, I love spooning, and spooning works even when it's below 48 degrees. You can catch a lot of fish, but you do need a little clearer water than what we've got right now. But,
You ever run a swivel on the top of that to avoid twist?
yeah, the question is, do you ever run a swivel on my jigs? No, not on these jigs. I don't know about other ones, but these ones don't twist up your line. They flutter sideways, they don't spin. A lot of other jigs, you'll see when you drop them, they spin down like that. And they work, you know, striper's a striper, he likes to eat stuff, right? But with these, I do not use a swivel, I want it direct, because that makes it flutter better down. But yeah, that's a great question. I'll hand this one around. This one's got a little more mustard to it. This one's rated 12 to 20. Hey, thanks you guys for coming. It was good to hang out with you.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry at all. I'm glad you were here. So thanks for being here. Don't be sorry. No, it's all good. No, I don't. I'm not an ego guy anymore. So, maybe when I was younger, I had a little ego, you know. It's true. True, I had a little bit. So I think we all did when we were young and guns and running pretty hard. No, it's all good. Everybody's just as important. If you got to go, I understand. The other thing on this rod, I cut off the end here about a couple inches. I also use this rod for casting swim baits, right? So this one here, 12 to 20, land any striper that you can hook, any 50 pound, anything like that. But I cut that off because when you cast a long handle, it always catches underneath your arm, catches in your shirt. So I made that so it fit me, so I can flip it, I can reel it, I can jig it, and that doesn't get hung up in anything here. So the first ones I had were too long and they kept getting hung up, so I cut it down a little bit and made it from there. I'll hand this one around. But that's a little bit about kind of a few techniques and what I do and things like that. And we troll a lot of deep divers. And the main thing is now, because it's a small group, and it's just, oh man, I just appreciate you guys again having us here. Ask any questions. I mean, because I've been all over and then you can't cover it all. So that was just kind of a broad type thing. But any questions at all? Yeah.
So what kind of components do you use? Use Fuji on your rods?
Okay,
Your
the components on the rods. No, they're a Seagar. And then I went to Seagar guides. I went all saltwater. So the question was, what components are you using on your rods? The reel seat's my own. I paid to have my own mold made. And then we got to where it fit my hand and how I liked it. It's the old style Loomis IM6, the burgundy rod that they used to, that Gary came out with, the Ken Weeby handle. You know, they came out with years, if you know Ken Weeby, he was a rep for Loomis 30 years ago. And that's what that handle is. Yeah, when I had it made, because you can't get them anymore. But no, they're all saltwater guides. Yeah. So I beefed that all up in there a little bit. And again, it doesn't make money, but it holds up. I mean, I beat them up. We've got over 50, at least 50 guides using them in different places. And for minnow fishing last year out of Calusa, we're fishing up there. Now, again, I salmon fish throughout the year. So if you guys want to book a trip or you want to hang out or something like that, let me know. Because I'm fishing 12 months out of the year. You can go to FishKevinBrock. We salmon fish, we striper fish, we do it all. But we were using that minnow rod that I handed around. And out of like 400 rods, 2 came back broken. One guy grabbed in the middle, you know, boat flipped, or tried to boat flip like an 8-pounder. That didn't work out very well. And then another guy closed it in his rod locker. So they were just bulletproof. There was a video. Stoney comes on board one day, does a video. We're in this spot. Real quick story. And the fish had left. The fish had left, right? They're gone. Everyone's looking at their watch. Is it time? Are we out? We're done with time? We good?
We're good.
We're good? It's like, all right, let's go home. Yeah, I'm on with you. We got ways to go. But we get to this spot. No fish are there. I'm like, all right, give it the 5-minute rule. If we don't get a fish in 5 minutes, we're out of here. 4 minutes, the rod buries down. Fish is like 44 inches long, something like that. Landed on that minnow rod. Had over like 600,000 views or something between all the social media. So it was on those minnow rods. But anyway, I don't want to cut anybody else out. Any other questions? Yeah.
I see you have jointed trolling lures. How do you decide if you're gonna use a non-jointed versus jointed?
Yeah, the question is, broken back versus non-broken back. Okay, back when we first started, the Rebel was it. The broken back Rebel was the one. If you could get them to tune straight, you'd catch some fish on it and stuff like that. Thanks you guys for coming. Have a good evening. Thank you. Take care. Yeah, and so when do I decide? I'll run one on one side, I let the fish tell me.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
So because I get to fish so many lines, I'll always have at least one broken back out there. And all of a sudden, boom, boom, it gets bit a couple times in a row. Now I got 4 with broken backs on them. But normally,
Do you notice a pattern that?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. And a straight one, if you run the bait you fish the most, that's going to be the one that you catch the most fish on, and that's going to be the one that you have the most confidence in. Guys are like, oh yeah, I caught them on chartreuse today. I'm like, cool.
That's what you ran.
Did you fish anything else? They're like, no, I ran chartreuse today. Well, there you go. That's why you caught them on chartreuse. It truly is that way. There are days when you'll run them in clear water. Like I'll run a rainbow trout, and like I'll run one that's a dull color, and then one with a real bright. And then I'll notice maybe the dull color is getting bit 3 to none, and then I switch everybody out real fast. Yeah, but
This
let's
is not called, Kevin, this is not called?
that is the double uni.
Double uni, okay.
Double uni on that one. Look that one up. The double uni is awesome for
Is
braid
there
to
glue on it too?
no, not on that one. From braid to mono, double uni is awesome.
Alright.
A 30-pound, it's super strong. So,
Pretty easy to tie too.
easy to tie. Lay them across, wrap this one around a few times, pull them together. Yep. Any other questions, you
Yeah, you're
guys?
not using these kind of rods for steelhead though, right? Are you using spinning rods for?
No, I use something different. Yeah, that's a whole nother seminar.
Okay, that's different, okay.
I've got like 17 models of rods.
Okay.
Okay, and so I brought 3 to share with you for the striper thing. But if you want to see them all, come to ISE. Check them out. I got trout rods all the way up to salmon trolling rods.
See you tomorrow.
They'll all be there. They'll all be there, and we'll give you guys a great deal on them.
It starts tomorrow?
It does start tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, at 11 o'clock it starts
You're gonna
tomorrow.
be there? I'll be there at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, 11 o'clock it starts tomorrow.
Alright.
Is the cook guy still here, or did he take off?
Who's that?
The cook, the chef. I should call the chef. The food was fantastic. Tell him thank you. That was awesome. That guy does a great job.
That's every
Yeah,
month,
every month.
every month.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You should
That's
come
awesome.
next month.
Yeah, well, we're planning on
Let's go for dinner.
being at the crab feed.
Oh, good.
So that's our plan. And at the crab feed we are donating 2 of the rods to the crab feed for the raffle. Yeah, so that goes that. So
Thank you.
whatever that happens, however that picks up, that kid's gonna pick them up tomorrow or the next day. Thank you guys for hanging out, supporting California Striped Bass Association. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. I was rolling too long there.
All right, good night, everybody. We'll see you here next month. Drive safely.